General Hospital spoilers tease that the tension between Brook Lynn and Lulu is reaching a boiling point, escalating beyond the boundaries of a typical personal argument into one of the most destructive conflicts Port Charles has ever witnessed. The two women, who have stood on opposite sides because of their long-standing rivalry, are now forced to face off in a situation where the consequences will not only fall on them, but also on the most innocent party, Gio. And at the center of all this chaos is Dante, the man both of them are connected to, love, and now become the final point of contention in a battle for recognition, trust, and honor. Lulu, who once believed she was doing the right thing, is gradually losing the advantages she once held. Her decision to investigate on her own, confront Lois Cerullo, and let Gio hear the truth indirectly has hurt everyone involved, especially Dante, who feels deeply betrayed as part of the past is uncovered at the wrong time, in the wrong way. Once someone Dante trusted, Lulu has now become a symbol of crossing personal boundaries and arrogance disguised as protecting the truth. She thought she was doing the right thing. But in Dante and Brook Lynn's eyes, she is merely putting her own ego above the child's emotions and safety. Brook Lynn, meanwhile, is no longer the passive woman bearing the consequences as in the past. She has lost so much, the chance to be a true mother, the chance to reveal the truth to her son in the way she wanted. And when the truth is ripped from her hands by Lulu, Brook Lynn can no longer remain silent. The pain, anger, and feelings of being wronged rise to a breaking point, transforming her into someone ready to confront and publicly accuse Lulu of destroying everything. She believes Lulu not only lacks tact but also intentionally insulted her, turning Brook Lynn's genuine regret and hurt into weapons to tear her down. And in the midst of these two conflicting women, Gio, the child caught in the emotional crossfire, is drifting without direction. The truth about his identity, revealed to him too soon, too abruptly, has shattered the fragile stability in his life. He begins questioning everything. Why has he been kept hidden all these years? Why couldn't people be honest with him from the start? Why is he only learning the truth when adults are using it as a weapon against each other? Joe's mindset, already fragile due to adolescence and his yearning for self-understanding, is now in a very dangerous state. He starts acting erratically, avoiding both Dante and Brook Lynn, refusing to talk to Lulu, and even having outbursts, from anger to silence. And then sudden eruptions of fury. This crisis is no longer personal, it has become a collective nightmare. Dante, who once managed to stay calm, can no longer maintain neutrality. He begins to realize that he too is at fault. He failed to protect Brook Lynn from public pressure, didn't notice Joe's psychological instability, and, most importantly, didn't stop Lulu before everything spiraled out of control. What was once a strong bond between the three is now crushed under a series of accusations, anger, and painful silence. Every time Brook Lynn sees Lulu, she is reminded of the moment when the truth was stolen from her. Every time Lulu sees Gio quietly turn away, she feels the guilt eroding her sanity. All of Port Charles is watching the unfolding drama in shock. Those who once supported Lulu are starting to doubt her motives. Those who once criticized Brook Lynn now empathize with the pain she is enduring. And Gio, though silent, is becoming the focal point of an emotional storm beyond all limits. His erratic behavior, panic attacks in the middle of the night, skipping school, disappearing for hours, all these signs are painting a picture of a child slipping away from both his mother's grasp. One of the craziest things is Lulu's realization that, despite her original intention to do it for the child, she has inadvertently triggered an irreversible chain of disaster. And while Brook Lynn is fighting to keep the child she has never fully raised, Lulu is learning to let go, and accepting that she is the one who has pushed everything to a point where no one can control it anymore. One of the most haunting events of their lives is unfolding, gradually breaking apart the fragile concept of family. If no one is strong enough to intervene and act as the break between these parallel lines of hatred, the only thing left will be Gio, a young man, filled with hurt, lost between the emotional battles of adults, with nowhere to call home. And at that moment, everyone will have to face a painful truth. Sometimes, even a twisted love can destroy the very things it seeks to protect. Lulu unexpectedly reveals a horrifying secret as the battle between her and Brook Lynn reaches its climax. Gio is not the only child Brook Lynn has ever had. He has a twin brother, a child who has never been mentioned, never been known, and now, this revelation is turning everything upside down. The disclosure detonates like a bomb in the already taut atmosphere between the two women. Not only does it stun Brook Lynn, but it also leaves Dante completely shell-shocked. Everything they thought they knew, everything they had tried to build, is now trembling under the weight of a truth that has been hidden for far too long. Brook Lynn, who once thought she had endured enough pain in having to separate from Gio, is now faced with another nightmare, a part of her soul, another child, has been ripped from her life without her ever knowing. The pain is not just loss, but also a deep betrayal from those who helped keep the secret, or worse, manipulated her so she would never know about the second child. Lulu, the one who revealed the secret, has now become the one to unleash the most terrifying storm in Brook Lynn's life, though that may not have been her original intent. This insane event is no longer a private matter. It has become a scandal of societal proportions, as the whole town of Port Charles begins to gossip, speculate, and doubt. Dante, while trying to stay calm to protect Brook Lynn and Gio, cannot help but feel that the truth is sweeping away all boundaries between right and wrong. If there is a twin, where is that child? Who took him away? Why was Brook Lynn never told? And does the child even know who he is? This confusion drags Dante into a whirlpool of inner conflict, where he has to ask himself whether he has the strength to salvage everything. The man who once wore the badge of a cop and thought justice was always the guiding light now sees truth filled with darkness and harsh consequences. Lulu's revelation not only destroys the illusion of peace but also ignites a series of uncontrollable chain reactions. Brook Lynn begins to sink into guilt and a sense of losing control. She is no longer sure about anything, not even herself. Was she unconsciously manipulated? Was someone hiding the twin child as part of a larger plot? The unanswered questions gradually become a new obsession, an unstable mental state she has never experienced before. Every time she looks at Gio, she sees the shadow of someone else, a forgotten twin spirit, a wound never healed. All of Port Charles is in shock. Those who once stood with Lulu are starting to question her motives. Did Lulu know everything all along and choose the most ruthless moment to expose it? Or is she also a victim in the power and deception game enveloping them all? Those who supported Brook Lynn are now deeply worried. Can she maintain her balance in this crisis, or will she completely collapse before the truth is found? For Dante, each step forward becomes a battle between reason and emotion. He loves Brook Lynn, loves Gio, and now he must open his heart to accept that there may be another child out there, a part of him. A piece of his life he never knew about. Responsibility weighs heavily on his shoulders, not only as a father but as the only one who can restore balance. But is that still possible when everything has been pushed to the edge of madness? The story of the twin child is proving to be one of the most insane controls in the history of the Corinthos Quartermain Spencer family. A new disaster is being revealed, opening up a journey of searching not only for the truth but also for redemption, forgiveness, and wounds that may never be completely healed. And while everything is spiraling into chaos, one question looms more hauntingly than all the rest: where is the second child? Gio now finds himself swallowed by a whirlwind of unbearable truths. As the fragmented pieces of his own identity suddenly fall into place, revealing a maddening reality, he is not only the son of Brook Lynn and Dante but also a twin. A part of a pair bound by blood since before birth. But where is the other half now? That question echoes in Joe's mind like a sharp knife, slicing through a consciousness already torn apart by months of deception and secrecy. He cannot stop imagining the possibilities. Where is his twin brother? How is he living? Who raised him? And most importantly, does he know Gio exists? This truth is not just a family secret exposed, it's a devastating blow to the fragile worldview Gio had just begun to build. Promises, forgiveness. Brook Lynn's tear-filled gazes, and Dante's silent regrets, all now seem insignificant in the face of a new void in Joe's heart, the sense of betrayal. Not only by the adults in his life but by fate itself, which brought him into this world only to be severed from the other half of his own flesh and blood. That feeling is bigger than anger, it is an unhealable fracture. With each passing day, Gio plunges deeper into a panic no one truly understands. The presence of his twin brother, whom he has never met, now haunts him like an inescapable obsession. He cannot focus, cannot think, and cannot feel love or forgiveness from anyone when the shadow of loss hangs over every breath. He wonders, if there truly is a twin brother, why has no one gone searching for him? If the adults in his life truly cared, why did they let him grow up in loneliness and torment, never once mentioning the existence of this sibling? The story does not end with Joe's personal pain. The existence of the twin brother is now not just a private matter but a ticking time bomb threatening to dismantle the already fragile bonds between everyone connected to Gio. Brook Lynn, the mother who sacrificed both her honor and career to hide the child, is now forced into defense. Not only because the truth has been exposed but because there are questions she cannot answer. Dante, the father who had never known his son for so many years, is now burdened with the guilt that his absence might be the reason one of his children is lost. And Lulu, the one who dug up all the secrets in an obsessive need to control, now becomes the catalyst for everything falling apart. The tension is not just from the blame or the scornful looks, but from the suffocating silence between the characters. No one knows whether the twin brother is alive or has disappeared. No one knows who raised the child, whether he was loved or mistreated as Gio himself had been. Every theory put forward only deepens Joe's psychological wound, making his panic turn into a frightening, uncontrollable obsession. He begins to lose sleep, lose direction, lose trust in everything. The relationships that had just started to heal between him and Brook Lynn, between him and Dante, are now on the verge of breaking once again due to the helplessness and chaos of everyone involved. Gio is no longer a teenager searching for parents, now. He is a brother torn by an unspoken responsibility, to find the sibling he has never met. This has become an obsession more consuming than his dream of reunion, more powerful than his anger. He has to know where the twin is because, without that, everything will be meaningless. He begins to search through hospital records, lost notes, hidden legal documents. Despite the risk of being hurt once more. Because for Gio, the truth, no matter how painful, is better than living in the darkness of something never whole. And when the light is finally revealed, whether it's life or loss, Gio will be the first to face the consequences. One half of him is out there somewhere. And until he finds that person, Gio will never feel complete. In the end, this story is not just about loss. It's about the desperate yearning for reunion. A longing so deep that it could drive a young heart like Joe's to sacrifice everything to pursue it, even when it might ultimately consume him. Dante and Gio, after all the secrets revealed and the unspoken wounds, have decided to embark on a journey not only to seek the truth but also to salvage their fragile father-son relationship that has just begun to take form. The discovery that Gio is one of the twin children has completely changed Dante's perception of the past and the future. He can no longer hide or continue living in a state of half-belief. As a father, as a man bearing heavy responsibility, Dante knows he must start with the simplest thing, holding his son's hand and going together to find the missing piece that was stolen from both of them. However, the journey to find the lost twin is not just an investigation. It is the resurgence of all the unhealed wounds in Dante's soul, the haunting of past choices that now he must face and pay for. As Dante and Gio go through old medical records, Dante sees not only the traces that were deliberately hidden but also sees himself, a father who abandoned a child he didn't know existed and is now trying to make amends. But every time Gio looks at him with eyes full of concern and doubt, Dante feels smaller than ever. No matter how hard he tries, he cannot erase the emptiness time has left in his son's heart. Meanwhile, the increasingly present role of Dante in Joe's daily life inadvertently pushes the father and son into a whirlwind of complex emotions. Dante wants to make up for lost time. Wants to be a father, wants to show his love with small acts, from making breakfast to asking about school, to boxing together in the old garage. But for Gio, all these efforts feel suffocating. He's not ready to forgive, nor can he suddenly assign Dante a new role. Joe's heart is torn between accepting his real father and the overwhelming urge to search for the twin brother he has never met. And it's this confusion, this internal conflict, that drives them into silent battles, long pauses that feel like suffocating. At the same time, Lulu has become an uncontrollable catalyst. What she revealed, the investigations she conducted behind everyone's back, now threatens to spiral everything out of control. Lulu still insists she is acting for Joe's benefit, but the way she forces the truth, the way she brings up old wounds and sows doubt, has made the relationships between Brook Lynn and Dante, between Gio and both of them, as fragile as a thread. Brook Lynn resents Lulu for destroying everything she was trying to mend. Dante is torn between his past with Lulu and his present with Brook Lynn and Gio. And Gio, increasingly, feels like just a pawn in a game of power and guilt being played by the adults. The tension reaches its peak when Lulu tries to approach Gio again, this time with a new lead on where his twin brother might be. But her presence is unwelcome. Gio, at the very limit of his patience, reacts violently and rejects all information from Lulu. Dante stands between the two, the woman who was once his love, and the son whose world is shattering, and he cannot make a choice without hurting one of them. The looks, the sharp words, the deep sighs, all form a distorted family portrait where no one truly wins. In this context, finding the lost twin is no longer just a search. It has become a symbol of redemption. A hope that no matter how twisted the past, there is still a chance to rewrite the ending. But will Dante and Gio be strong enough to face the truth if it's harsher than they imagined? Will the appearance of the lost twin bring light, or will it only deepen the existing cracks? And will the father-son bond between Dante and Gio be strong enough to endure as everything else crumbles around them? Only time and the truth can answer. But one thing is certain, this journey will not be easy, and the shocks ahead will be about more than identity, they will be about the heart. If the truth is revealed that Cody is the biological father of the mysterious child, Joe's lost twin brother, everything Brook Lynn has tried to bury, every layer of the crazy past she thought was long buried, will once again flare up like a fire consuming the fragile remnants of what remained. Cody being the father of the child is not just a shock to their bloodline but a seismic shift that disrupts the entire family structure, the trust, and the memories that have been twisted by the wrong choices of many. Most importantly, it plunges Dante into a new whirlpool of conflict, where he no longer knows where the limits of forgiveness lie. Brook Lynn can no longer avoid the truth. She must face Dante's gaze, the father she deprived of the chance to raise his own child, and now confess that she had also hidden the fact of her second pregnancy, this time with Cody. This truth places her in a chaotic situation, forced to confront Gio, the son she once hid, while also facing the reality that she let Joe's twin brother grow up without a real family, unaware of his origins, and without the opportunity to be nurtured by any true love from either parent. Cody, a man always surrounded by a shady past and uncertain choices, is now caught in this earthquake. He had no idea he had a child. The truth that this child is Joe's twin brother leaves Cody so bewildered that he no longer knows how to handle the situation. As Dante's best friend, as someone once involved with Brook Lynn, Cody not only feels betrayed but is pushed into a dangerous position, where every decision he makes could shatter a relationship, a family, or even the life of an innocent child. Dante, amid his emotional turmoil, must face one of the greatest challenges of his life. How can he remain rational when he learns that the twin brother Gio has been searching for his Cody's son, the very friend, the brother who stood by his side all this time? How can he accept that Brook Lynn once again hid such a horrific truth? And most importantly, how can he hold on to Gio, hold on to the family they just re-established, while another child, an innocent child, is swept into this whirlpool of lies and loss? The presence of the child, the blood that ties Brook Lynn and Cody, is not just a new character in this messy picture but a symbol of the serious consequences of irresponsible choices and secrets buried too deep. This child now needs to be found, protected, loved, and given a place to belong. But who will have the courage and love to do that, when all the adults are trapped in guilt, conflict, and inner turmoil? The story of Dante and Cody, once two men bonded by friendship, is now placing them at odds with each other due to the very life they were never prepared for. Every step they take now is no longer for themselves but for the children hurt by the mistakes of the adults. Can their relationship survive this storm? Or will it be swallowed by the unbearable weight of the situation? When the truth shatters, not just one but many hearts will be broken. But it is also the moment when forgiveness, redemption, and true love must come to the fore, if they are not to lose everything once again. Lulu and Brook Lynn. After everything that has happened to Gio and the secrets that were thought to be buried forever, can no longer hold back the anger and hurt building up inside. A new battle between these two women is forming, clearer than ever before, not just a confrontation of words or hateful glances, but a series of fierce, uncompromising actions. As both believe they have suffered the most. Lulu's anger and sense of betrayal make her feel that Brook Lynn has not only stolen the truth but also the right to protect Dante and Gio from even deeper harm. Meanwhile, Brook Lynn believes that Lulu's interference and covert investigation are the root cause of all the chaos now drowning her family. Their confrontation goes beyond Gio. It's expanding into an emotional storm filled with all the grudges, jealousy, and long-buried hatred from the past. Every accusation, every disdainful glance, feels like a knife wound, deepening the scars that time cannot heal. Neither of them realizes that, in their struggle to prove themselves right, they are both becoming the ones to destroy the most valuable things: family, trust, and especially Joe's peace of mind, the most innocent party in this battle. While Lulu pushes forward to uncover the identity of the mysterious twin, partly for redemption, partly to prove her more important role in protecting the family than Brook Lynn is pushed into a state of uncontrollable despair, no longer trusting anyone, not even herself. The wounds she bears are not only from outsiders but also from Dante, the man she loves, who now seems unsure of where to stand between two women who are both the mothers of his children. Both Lulu and Brook Lynn are sinking deeper into a war with no winners. The emotional, reputational, and relational damage between them is growing. Secrets continue to surface. The pain becomes more apparent, and decisions made in anger are pushing both women closer to the edge of collapse. The most frightening part is not who is right or wrong, but that both have forgotten the reason they entered this fight, to protect Gio and give him the best chance at happiness. If they keep clashing like two unstoppable storms, the only thing that will remain is destruction, for themselves, for their loved ones, and for Gio, who stands in the middle of a war that should never have existed.